Now let's proceed with chemical reaction and balancing equation. The first chemical reaction we're going to discuss is synthesis. It's just like 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Synthesis is also known as combination. Always remember that all the things that we have on the left side are called reactant and all the things on the right side are called product. Let's proceed with the next one, which is decomposition, which is the exact opposite of synthesis or combination. If in synthesis we are combining elements, in decomposition we are breaking down the compounds into many elements. Let's proceed with the next one, which is combustion. In combustion, always consider if reactants are combustible. In our first example, we have methane and oxygen gas. In our second example, we have butane and oxygen gas. And the product of combustion is always carbon dioxide and water. Next, we have single displacement, wherein one element is being replaced by another element. Single displacement is also known as single replacement. The next chemical reaction that we have is the what we call double displacement or double replacement. In this case, there are two elements that are being interchanged. In this example, A is being replaced or being partnered with C and B is being partnered with D. There are other more chemical reaction, but we're just going to have those five. Now let's identify what type of chemical reaction is this and balance this equation. The type of chemical reaction of this equation is synthesis. Now always remember this when it comes to balancing equation. It is a trial and error method. That means there's no shortcut when it comes to balancing the equation, and always get the lowest possible configuration in as much as possible. The first step is always list all the elements on the reactant and product side. In this example, in our reactant, we have hydrogen and nitrogen. And at the same time, in our product, we also have hydrogen and nitrogen. The next step is count how many these elements are. In this example, hydrogen in our reactant, we have 2, while nitrogen, we have also 2 for our reactant. On the other hand, our product, we have 3 hydrogen and 1 nitrogen. So the question here is this balanced? The answer for that is no, because they don't have the same number of elements. In order for us to balance this equation, we can add numbers to the side of each element or compounds. Now remember that we can only add numbers in this side of each element or compounds. And since it is a trial and error method, let me show you how balancing equation is being done. So what if I add 2 to the side of NH3 so that if I multiply to 1 of nitrogen, it will become 2. But at the same time, I will multiply it to 3 of hydrogen since it is a compound. Now that we can see nitrogen are already the same for both reactant and product side, the only problem right now is hydrogen. So we need to think of a number that if we multiply it to 2 of hydrogen, it will become 6. So if I add 3 to the side of hydrogen and I multiply it to 2, it will become 6. Therefore, this equation is already balanced. Let's try another example. First, what type of chemical reaction is this? It's combustion. Now let's try to balance this by identifying first the elements with the reactant side and to the product side. We have CHO for the reactant, and for the product we also have CHO. Now we need to count each element for both sides. Carbon for reactant we have 3, then we have 8 hydrogen, and we have 2 oxygen. On the other hand, on the product side, we have 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen, and 3 oxygen, 2 from CO2 and 1 from H2O. So once again, the equation is not yet balanced. For reactant having 3 carbons while product have 1, and for reactant having 8 hydrogen while product having 2, and for reactant having 2 oxygen while product has 3. Let me start by balancing the carbon. Let me have 3 to the side of carbon dioxide so that if I multiply to 1 of carbon, it will become 3. But at the same time, oxygen will become 7, having 6 from CO2 and 1 from H2O. And as you can see, the equation is not yet balanced. So what if I will add 4 to the water so that if I multiply to 2 of hydrogen, it will become 8. But at the same time, we need to multiply that 4 to the oxygen of H2O since it is a compound, so that we will have 4 on the side of H2O plus the 6 from carbon dioxide. Therefore, the oxygen is 10. Now, as you can see, carbon and hydrogen for both product and reactant are already the same. The only problem that we have right now is for oxygen. For reactant, we have 2, and for product, we have 10. So we need to think of a number that if we multiply it to the subscript of oxygen from the reactant, which is 2, we will have 10. If we multiply it by 2, we will have 10. Now the equation is already balanced. I want you to answer the following. First is to identify what chemical reaction are they and balance them. Papers will be checked on Friday.